Alright, I got an issue today. I don't know if you can notice it very well in the image, but this distributor motor is bouncing. It's jumping quite a bit. I'm chalking it up to this V-belt being bad, and the way I can tell that is I put my hand against the motor, and I push down on it, and I can feel it. You can actually see it. It's actually making my hand jump as I'm holding it, so I know there's got to be a bad spot in this V-belt somewhere. I'm going to show you how to get that out and off without having to take this entire plate off right here. And let's get started. It's going to be pretty quick, so in case you're right in the middle of the league, you don't have to fight with it. First thing you do is shut your machine off. The distributor motor, it's not holding anything up really, so you don't have to lower the table down or put the table into a safe position to risk injury when you take the tension off of it. So I'm gonna pull back on the motor. Let me put you over here real quick to show you. I'm gonna pull back to the left side of your screen with this motor, just enough to take tension off this belt. Then I'm gonna work the belt off on the inside. I'm gonna have my hand inside here working it off. And then I'm going to push this metal pan, this metal guard cover, I'm going to push it to the actual right of your screen, and I'm going to bow it out enough to get the belt over that part of the pulley wheel that's sticking out in the inside. I'm going to put it right in the dead center of your screen. That part right there, that's the part I'm going to push around to make sure that I can get that belt around it. I have got a new belt to replace it. Keep them in stock. It's the 10 millimeter by 875 millimeter belt. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm pulling the motor to myself, and I'm starting to work that belt off. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, so now the belt is off the motor, and the motor is going to tip forward just a little. The spring actually popped off where it was. You can see it swinging down there. That's the spring. So now that I've got the belt free in here, so I can zoom in and help you out. There we go. So the belt's free right here in my hand. I'm taking it off of the metal pulley wheel on the inside of the motor right here, and get it off. There we go. Sorry, so it's completely off of that wheel, so it can come out through the back. Pulling it right out through the back here. Get some jumpiness out of there. Alright, so the belt right here, it's free floating in my hands, but if you can see it, it's catching on the inside of that part that I showed you earlier, just a couple seconds earlier. It's actually catching on that. It's not letting it out. That's where usually some of my other mechanics have taken the time to get a wrench, socket, whatever, take this cover guard off. I don't. I just pull this guard out to the side a little. Pull your belt out. Take your new belt, put it back in, line it up with that spot on that pulley wheel that's hitting. Pull the guard out again. Alright, so now the new belt is pushed back through. I'm going to put it on the motor first, on the motor pulley wheel, before I put it onto the actual large black pulley wheel. And just the reason I do that is I don't want to overstretch out my spring. I got my spring right down here. That's the spring. So I'll go ahead and go past the black pulley wheel. Putting it onto we use the smaller diameter wheel on this motor. The higher speed sometimes cause issue with the pins getting jammed on the table. So now I'm going to tip my motor back. I'm going to go ahead and reconnect the spring that came loose on the side over here. So I can do this one-handed. there I'm hooked back up on the spring. Usually it doesn't take me that long, but like I said, I was doing it one-handed, holding the camera. Alright, so now I'm going to pull back on the motor just a little as I go ahead and feed this black belt around. Probably need to get you into a better position. Not really going to be much to see from here. Hopefully you should know how to get the belt back on. And I'm going to feed it around the top of the big black wheel. As I'm pulling on the motor just enough to get it on the pulley. Don't want to do too much. You don't want to stretch out your spring. There we go. Everything's back together. Let's see. Let's take a look at this belt. I can see the belt is worn. All the way around it, it's got cracks through it. There's the culprit spot. Okay, sometimes it's not much. See if I can point it out here to you. Right there in the center of the belt in the picture. See how it's got that curl in it? It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be smooth all the way around. That's that lump right there. That's what was causing that motor to shake. I got other parts of the belt. They're just fine. You know, if I bend it, you could have it work, let it ride a little bit more, but I'm always worried about shredding and the trash on my table that it's going to create, the dirt, as well as an issue. It could just break in the middle of the league, and then people that wouldn't know how to do it calling me up to get me to try and walk them through it. Instead, I just do the preventive maintenance. And that should be everything on changing out that motor. That is the distributor motor belt, drive belt.